Hey, so I just wanted to do a quick video. I often get asked about caring for loved ones as a funeral director and if I've taken care of anybody that's in my immediate family. And I talked about this briefly in other videos, but I wanted to kind of put it all together and talk about my loved ones, my close loved ones that I have cared for. So I have taken care of my paternal grandma and grandpa. I helped dress and casket my maternal grandmother in Minnesota, and then I also cared for my niece who was 7 when she died. So my grandparents, obviously, it was a very different emotion than caring for my niece. They were all in their 90s, my grandparents, so they lived very blessed, very amazing lives. I feel like in the last few years of my grandpa's life, I was closer to him than I had been through the rest of my life. I was able to, as an adult, have great conversations with him. We used to have pizza dinners, and at the nursing home, one of the last meals I took him his favorite meal and brought him some beer, and we just sat and had a great last conversation. And it was just within, I think, 2 weeks of when he died. So it was really special. So it was a very different care to give somebody than a sudden loss, like with a child. For the most part, most children are sudden losses unless it's cancer or something. So I found it to be such an honor and so cathartic to get to care for my grandparents. It was something I could give to them, something only I could do for them and with them. And so I was blessed to get to do that. I was blessed to get to care for them. I was kind of upset I couldn't care for my grandma in Minnesota more than I did, but because of the time to get there, and I was actually pregnant at the time, so I couldn't embalm. But I did get there, and the professional courtesy of the funeral home there was amazing, and they let me come in, and I just had some private time. I got to get her dressed and do her makeup and her hair and her nails, and well, actually no, my aunt had painted her nails, so I didn't do her nails, and got her in the casket, and it was just really nice to get to have that time with her. Her appearance was really important to her in terms, she always had jewelry that matched everything, and it was always the craziest jewelry and the craziest shoes, and so getting to do her makeup just so and get her ready was really a special thing for me. With my grandparents here, I was not there when either of them died, and I think God works that out. I don't know if I could do that transition from saying goodbye here and then all of a sudden going to do the preparation. So I got to say goodbye. They died while I wasn't there, and then I took them to be embalmed. And it really was the easiest release. They were gone, and I knew they were gone. They were not in that shell. That was not their body. That body had failed them, had been old and feeble, and had failed them at the end. And so I cared for that body, and I took care of it as if it was still my grandparent inside of it, but I knew that my grandparent's soul and spirit was gone. I felt it, I knew it. When my grandpa was all ready and sat up at the funeral home, I sat and had a beer with him and tucked my beer bottle down in the foot of the casket and just got to have that moment. And I got to have that because of my position. And so there are special moments that we get to have as funeral directors with loved ones just because of what we're doing, caring for them and everything. So that was always really special. And I know that every funeral director doesn't feel that way. And some feel even more so that way, that they're more comfortable taking care of anyone. I know there's funeral directors who have prepped their spouses and their own children. I don't know if I could do that, but I think until you're in the moment and you've endured that loss, you don't know what you are capable of doing. So unless you've done it, you can't say whether you could or not, I think. I think it's a hard thing to judge before it happens, just like any loss. You don't know what a loss will feel like until it happens. With your parents, you've never lived a day in your life without your parents, so you don't know what it's going to feel like to lose your parents. You cannot even fathom what that day without them is going to be like because you've never had it. So I think until in the situation, you don't know who you're going to be able to care for. My niece was a whole different situation, and I'm going to do a whole nother video about caring for her. But I wanted to just address and talk about this for a brief moment so you understood how I do care for loved ones. So I will see you guys on the next video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.